Alright, so this video is going to review the rhetorical triangle, and keep in mind this is just a graphic or a way to understand the different players and pieces within a rhetorical situation where there is a person trying to convey a message to a particular group or audience. And so we're also going to look at how the appeals tie into this as well as we go through and start labeling. I am using a kind of a funky little program, so you're going to hear some weird sound effects as I do different things within the program. So, you know, they're amusing, but just so you know, that's what's happening. So let's take a look at the first point of this triangle, and that's going to be the speaker, the author, or the writer. And so when you read a speech or listen to a speech, that's obviously the speaker. If it's a piece of writing, or whether it's an article or a novel or a passage, this is who we're talking about. Now, you as the writer of an essay, right, this is also where you would be as well. And when we talk about a speaker or an author or a writer, they are going to have, right, some sort of ethos or ethos. Depending on what pronunciation guide you look at, you're going to see that this is called ethos or ethos. And when we talk about that, right, there's a couple ways that this occurs. If it's a famous person that an audience already knows, then their ethos or ethos is already established because they have a reputation. So in that sense, right, when you talk about the relationship between speaker, and let's go ahead and put on our audience right here. Okay, this is going to be our audience. When we talk about our audience, this is whoever your speaker or writer is trying to communicate to. So if there's a relationship already between the audience and the speaker, then that ethos is already going to be established to an extent. Now, can that ethos be diminished or even destroyed? Possibly, depends on what's being said to them. So the speaker oftentimes has to either work to establish ethos with the audience, or it's already established. If the audience has never heard of the speaker or writer, you can imagine that they have to develop this in order to gain credibility with the audience. Okay. That also said, let's say the audience doesn't like the speaker. Some people hear a name and they automatically don't like that person, so they might already have a poor reputation, and therefore that speaker or writer has to work harder in order to develop that. Okay, so the audience, when we talk about the feelings, right, that the author might have, we're also talking, that the audience might have, we're also talking about the pathos or pathos. Again, the pronunciation depends on the pronunciation guide you look at. Sometimes it lists both, but the feeling of the audience, or could be what the speaker or writer is trying to tap into. So when we talk about pathos or pathos, the writer is trying to perhaps manipulate that to a certain extent, depending on who the audience is. If the audience is already angry about something and the speaker wants to change their mind, then the approach to their pathos is going to be much different in the writing. Okay, so the last part here, what we're talking about here, then is the message or subject or topic, and it's called different things, right? Here is the message, subject, or topic, right? And a lot of times how well that is put together, right, this is the argument that's being made, is sometimes you'll hear this term logos, and this is how logically, right, this message, subject, or topic is being created. And so when we start having conversations about writing, when we start looking at what's being said in a piece that we're reading, we have to start with these building blocks, right? So we may be given a piece to read, and we don't know the audience. It's not explicitly told to us. And sometimes when it is told to us, it's not actually who the audience is. For instance, JFK's inauguration speech, when he gives that, he names particular people in the intro of his inauguration speech. However, that's really only recognizing those people in attendance, and he's actually making this speech to the entire world, because as you read that inauguration speech, you see that he speaks to our allies and our enemies. So when we have to go into a piece, and sometimes we're told the audience and sometimes we're not, just realizing that the speaker has an audience in mind. The speaker then crafts this message or subject or topic. In other words, develops the logos in the piece. The speaker crafts or develops this message to best reach the audience. And so the speaker has to know the audience that the speaker is trying to reach. If the audience is negative or hostile to this message or subject matter, the speaker author has to make much different rhetorical choices than if the audience is, warm or receptive. So the logos or the crafting of the message, subject, or topic all depends on the speaker's understanding of the audience. And that's how all of those three things interplay with each other. So that's the rhetorical triangle. And the idea would be is if you're given a piece or a speech or a passage, that you can start plugging these components in to help you better understand what's happening in the author's rhetoric. All right, so I hope that clears that up. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments, and I will get back to you as soon as possible with an answer. All right, take care. Until next time. Hey, thanks for watching this video. I really hope it was helpful. If you could subscribe to the channel, boy, that would be sweet. Here is a playlist that has to do with advanced placement and other advanced English kind of topics. Up here is a writing workshop and other kind of writing videos. And then just here's one for fun. Until next time, take care.